What was it like being tasked with the responsibility of setting up the foreign ministry of the then youngest country on the continent?
He's a visionary leader, extremely gifted person, both in terms of, disagreeing, being firm, disciplined, disagreeing in a very pleasant and an agreeable manner with the most difficult negotiators internationally. We were not starting from a scratch. He has been the leader of the SWAPO liberation diplomacy, which took much longer than our recent years as a nation. And he has established SWAPO offices with SWAPO chief representative all across the country. So what we basically had to do after independence was merely reenact what SWAPO had already achieved, but as an independent nation and as a country.
As the permanent secretary at that time, what were the particular skills that you were interested in selecting the first batch of the individuals that will represent the country on the foreign missions?
We're looking for people who are willing to learn, curious, and open for opportunities that are being presented out there. That was sort of basically the selection criteria.
Do you think that the late Gurirab and by extension yourself were successful in steering Namibia's foreign policy?
First challenge, obviously, after independence was to regain the Walvis Bay and the offshore islands, because without those islands, Namibia as a country would not have been independent. That's what President Nyomo said, our Independence Day celebrations. Before the reintegration of Walvis Bay and the offshore islands, Namibia's independence would not be complete. And we were fortunate to have achieved that objective within the first 4 years after independence. If you look at other countries around the world or territories that are enclaves, whether it's in northern Morocco, Spain holds those, or Gibraltar that belongs to England but part of Spain, and many other examples in the world. It took much longer to achieve that objective. So that was a tremendous success that Theoben Gurirab shepherded, guided those of us that were involved in the negotiation processes, and then opening up all the embassies around the world.
Looking at your own diplomatic life, what lessons have you learned from him that still guide you as a diplomat today?
He's certainly not the best diplomat that Namibia has produced, but certainly most probably that Africa as a continent has produced. What I have learned is his sense of humility. A humble person, not overbloated self-importance. That is always a good character trait to have, but also hard work, commitment. Theoben Gurirab, from the first days that I met him, he never leaves office before the work is accomplished that had to be done on that given day. So that dedication, commitment towards the nation, to the people that he represented, that's certainly a worthwhile skill to follow, and for many of us young diplomats that following in his shoes to look up to.
The legacy that he has left behind, what would you make of it?
I'm sure as innovative as Namibians as we are, they will find appropriate spaces within the country, throughout the country, in the cities and towns, to name after him so that his memory is retained for many years to come.